Well, hey everyone, it's time for Geocache Talk. Whether you're at work, in the car, wherever you are, we hope you enjoy the show. Please give it a like and subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Cast, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, wherever you can find that, so you can get all the weekly Geocache Talk goodness. Big thanks to the Travel Bugs for the music and our patrons, Demon Hunter 2, Aggie Jedi Master, Electric Water Boy, Joshua, the geocaching vlogger, Cashley, One Kind Word, Ravenclaw Tia, Shermanator 18, Butterfly Girl, Loon Trackers, the Aussie Geocacher, the Geo Gearheads, Sodak Zach, the Deadliest Cachers, Terrell 2, Neil Moore, Molly the Geocaching Dog, Team D&D, Geocaching Adam, Peachy 1276, the No Code Geocachers, Curiosity Girl, Tick Magnet, Marsipanic, Bricker John, Firesafe, Doc Firewoman, FS Abero, Geo Rick, Cache Addict Mel, Geocaching Janji, the Geocaching Junkie, Sir Drumalot, Janice, Tricacheist Tom Frey, Rugels, and our new patrons, the Bruce Zero, EGK PBR, and Casamaya. If you'd like to become a patron, head on over to patreon.com/geocachetalk for more details. Patrons get path tags, coins, other geocaching swag during the year, as well as invites to special events only for patrons. Support levels start at as little as $3 a month. Let me start by welcoming my co-host, Sydney.
Good afternoon.
And Jesse.
Good afternoon.
And let's jump right into show 75 for November 5th. November 12th. Sorry, I get the date right. Update show note now. November 12th, as we welcome Christel Kujala to the show. Welcome to Geocache Talk.
Hello, everyone. Or I could say good evening.
Yes. For her, it's evening. It's 10:03 there, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Well, Christel, we're so glad to have you on the show. We're talk about caching in Finland, but also a lot of other things as far as you've been caching in a lot of countries. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But first, a little news. Podcast of Hope is coming up December 10th of this year is when we're going to have our Podcast of Hope, where we raise money for St. Jude's Children's Hospital and their research on eliminating childhood cancer. And just a couple little sort of snippets to get you guys excited about this 8-hour podcast. We're going to have Daryl back, talk about holiday gadgets. I mean, who's the best person to talk about holiday gadgets other than Daryl W4? I mean, come on. We're going to talk about the other games. So, Sydney, you talk about
Muncie?
your other favorite. Muncie? We'll talk about Muncie. We'll talk about Pokemon Go. I know you're fired up about Pokemon Go.
It's in and out. Some days,
Some days more than others.
Yeah.
Yep. And Wallaby and some other. We'll talk about some cool. So anyway, and then we're gonna talk about holiday movies, and we'll have a lot of cool stuff going on. So it's gonna be fun. And another cool thing, we're gonna do a vlogger roundtable. It's going to be fun. So we got Joshua, the geocaching vlogger, and Katie's going to try to get on, even though she's not going to be at home. She's still going to try to be on the show wherever her and her family will be vacationing. But she really wants to come on with that. Probably get a little Johnny Cash playing guitar, and we'll have a fun night. 8-hour jam-packed night, December 10th. Starts at 4 p.m. and goes to midnight. And then I think we're about done with our promotion for our coin. We'll do it one more week. There's the coin, and we're still selling those. Not many left, so jump on it. A great holiday gift is the coin.
Yeah.
So I sent one out this week, so we're still selling a few, but we're, like you said, we're down to the last few. So $17 US.
Yeah, you can reserve one to me.
Oh, you want one? We'll send you one. Yeah.
I would like to have one.
That's right.
Freak.
Yeah, are you really? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk after the show. We'll get you set up for one. So anyway, to buy one, they're located at the bottom of the main geocachetalk.com page if you'd like to purchase one. All right, enough of that. Let's get into the show with Christel. And so Christel, you were in Finland.
Yes.
Yes, and it's interesting because how Christel connected with Geocache Talk. We asked our buddy Casamaya, who's our patron. I was like, "Oh, it'd be like to maybe have you on." He's like, no, but I know somebody that I think would be really much better on the show." And he suggested Christel, so.
Yeah.
There you go, Christel. That's how we got you on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess we'll start first with just how did you even first learn about geocaching?
Then I think it was some newspaper or magazines or something. I read about it a few years earlier. I think it was when the first caches was published, something like that.
Gotcha.
And then a friend of mine posted some pictures on Facebook in 2009 that there was it was a cave or something like that, and it looked really interesting, and yeah, I was sold. So I saw her and asked lots of questions, how to register and how to find those caches, and I didn't have any other equipment than a Nokia communicator.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Really old-fashioned NTN mobile phone, really huge. So just that.
You found a lot, but you found a lot of caches with that thing.
Yeah. I think the first 500 I found with that, and I used also a car navigator.
Right.
And just had to put the cords in because it couldn't read any GPS files. So
right, sure. And it got you close because a lot of times the car. I've done it with a car before, and the car kind of it's like so big on top of the screen that you just get. It's like sometimes you don't get real. It's not real precise, so you just have to kind of get as close as you can to it.
Yeah, but if you get the 20 meters, that was really good. So it was just a search.
Right, but then you switched. You got you a Garmin, so you were rolling then.
Yeah.
Got you 450 to start with, I guess.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes, and it was really good. I still have it, and I use it as a second GPS. When I travel somewhere abroad, I use my both GPSs, because in the other one I save all those must do. For example, I try to get the JASMA done, so the earth caches or webcams or something like that. Some extra caches I want, and in the other one there is everything. So so I have two GPSs done, and I can see if there is some extra that we have to do, and on the path is there something extra we can do. So
gotcha. So you use and your other one that you use is an Oregon 750. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes, it's the new one. It's really good.
Okay, cool. And you've got Jasmer. You finished Jasmer?
No, I haven't. No, they're still missing, and I'm not sure if I can finish it in Europe. I think I just waiting for those flight tickets to US.
Right.
Have those old caches. So there is a few that I can't do here.
Okay.
Quite close.
Right. You're close though. That's good. Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, we'll talk about those here in a minute. But yeah, so your the first cache that you ever found is called Rosarium.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was in a rose park,
Okay.
so that's why the name is Rosarium.
Right.
And it's actually still there. It's a really old cache. So,
Oh,
and
cool.
it's still alive.
It's still alive. That's awesome.
Yeah,
You know that's
that's
still
awesome.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Slinky Mama, my wife, she loves her roses, and so we found some. Well, Jesse and I found some down in Tyler, Texas, which is a lot of roses down in Tyler. So that's cool. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think Jesse's is. I know my cache is still alive. Sydney's cache, I think, is yours is still alive, right?
Mine is too.
No,
Is it? Okay.
mine's not.
Oh, yours
That's
is?
right.
Okay.
Sydney's is gone.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool if it's still but it's your first cache, and so you were. So what was it? What were your thoughts when you found your first cache? Was it like, this is incredible, I actually found one, or what were some of your thoughts?
Yeah, something like a wow. So just to feel it that you really have Tupperware
Right.
plastic, but it was I don't know. It was crazy because it's just plastic.
Right.
So and you get excited by finding a Tupperware. So
Exactly. Yeah. Well, we're going to talk a little bit. Christel and I talked a little bit before the show about cache types. We'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, very cool, Christel.
So, who do you go caching with? Is it just you, or do you go with other people?
mostly by myself, and especially last year, I did the 365 challenge.
Oh,
So I had to go every day to find the cache, and that was mostly all by myself. So after work days in the middle of the night or so you can't
Yes.
suppose anyone to come with you. But now when I do not do any challenges right now, so I can go with my friends and find just one cache or maybe a trail or something, just for fun.
you don't have to go get one every single day now.
No, not ever, never ever.
I agree with you.
Jesse knows how that goes.
Yes, I know how that is. We did the year streak last year. It was pretty rough. Does the husband go with you ever?
Yes, he does, but he's not so eager. He's more like a muggle. So geocaching by marriage. So
That's awesome.
Geocaching by marriage.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
But at least he goes some, right? He doesn't hate it.
no, he doesn't hate it. Actually, when we went to the Giga, he hated them because we had the whole car was full of geocaches, and we did a car trail, and it was actually really crazy. So just jumping out from the car and fetch the cache and sign it and jump into the car and drive 160 meters and then jump out, jump in, drive, jump in, jump out. So he said, never again, never again.
That may be a little bit much for somebody that doesn't want to geocache all the time.
Yeah. He liked to go to some nature park or something like to take a good hike or something like that, but not those crazy caching trips.
So why don't you talk about maybe a couple of your favorite geocaching experiences?
I say one that has been really excited was when we drove our car all the way from Finland to Croatia.
Oh, wow.
And we wanted to go to Plitchwick Nature Park, where there's, I don't know how many waterfalls there are, about 200 or something like that.
Wow.
And there is a earth cache and other caches also. So that was one of the most significant I ever done. So.
And how long did it take you to get there? Like, how far away is that?
It took 1 week to drive
Wow.
down there.
Oh.
So,
She's got me beat, guys.
That is a long drive.
yeah, but we cached along the way. So, and I think we found well, I don't remember if it was Slovenia's or Slovakia's oldest cache on the way.
Oh, cool.
I didn't know it was the oldest. Afterward, I discovered, oh, I got the first one.
That is awesome. So from Finland, there's like a ferry. Is there like a car ferry, obviously, that goes back and forth between Finland?
Yeah, you can take a ferry via Sweden or from Helsinki to Germany, or from Helsinki to Estonia. There's 3 different ways.
Right, very cool.
So this trip, you obviously got to go to many countries, right?
Yeah.
Why don't you talk a little bit about all the different places you've been geocaching?
27 different countries in Europe.
Wow. 27.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
more than the states I've been to.
Yeah, many people in Finland, they collect some counties.
Counties, yep.
Counties, but I collect European countries.
Yeah, perfect. In fact, Sydney, I'm going to let you keep going, but I want to show while we do this. Let me switch my screen and we can look at some countries. So there you go. You can keep going now.
And you've been to a couple mega events in the UK?
Yeah. And
so has Finland
really
had a
awesome.
mega or no?
Yeah, we have megas every summer. There is a mega also.
Okay.
But in UK, it's quite different because it's a whole week's event. And they have a mega camp with lots of happening going on there. So I really love them.
So you'll go to your event. You've actually had 4, but you've been to a lot of events, 115 events. Oh, there we go. Wait, I missed. Let me back up. So Jessie, she's kind of up in your. I mean, you've had a lot of events too. So
I've been to a few. Yeah.
Jessie goes to weekly. So
weekly, but
yeah,
you've been to 9 megas in 1 giga. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. So why don't you talk a little bit about the giga event that you went to? A little bit more than we have already.
So yes, that was last, actually a few months ago in
the
Czech
Great
Republic.
Moravia.
Yeah.
Yeah, Great Moravia 2017. Yep, keep going. I'm sorry.
So it was really fun.
Cool.
There was lots of caches around, but we were with a couple other caches, so and we rented a car together, and I have this crazy idea to have the 2000 found was maze in UK, the first maze they had in UK, and the giga was my 3000 fund. So I just had to find lots of caches before. So we did the car trail and other crazy caches, so I could log them in the right way to get giga as 3000. So
very cool.
That's impressive.
And I've done the maze now 2 times. So
Wow. So if you could pick, go
the
ahead,
maze.
Gary.
I'm sorry. I was just saying
Oh, the
about the
GPS
maze.
maze.
Yeah,
We
she
don't
found
have those here.
Yeah,
We
You have
did.
8
we
and
used to.
HQ.
I haven't been there either, so I still haven't gotten
We
those.
actually had one in Denver one time, and I didn't go to it.
Jesse.
Oh, Jesse.
I didn't know it was early on. I didn't know anything about it, and I missed it.
Yeah, there was
That's
actually
all right.
one in Rochester like a couple years before I started.
That's crazy.
So
Yeah, that'll be for a regret show. We'll talk about that some other time.
Yeah, we'll do that one day. Go ahead.
So, what do you like most about geocaching?
I think it's the same question everyone gives. Experience new places that you didn't even know they exist. So that's the greatest.
I think that's the same for all of us, no matter where we are, right?
Yeah.
And it's really fun because you learn about your own environment so much more, and there can be some really nice buildings and parks that you doesn't know about, and then there is a cache, and you go there and you discover really cool places. So that's really good.
Are you still pulling that up, Gary?
Very true. Which one am I going to pull
I thought
up?
you're still pulling one up.
No.
If you're not, I think everybody's excited to get to jump right into geocaching in Finland. We want to hear more about Finland. So
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me switch back. One moment. Let me switch back.
I know you're pulling something up.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me get. We were going to talk about. Yeah. Let me see here. We were going to go to. We were going to. We want to talk about her.
The toolbox.
The toolbox one. Yeah. Let's jump back.
Yeah. I know you were pulling something up.
Yeah, I'm getting there. Let me go back and we're gonna. This one's interesting because of we talk a lot over here. Well, we don't talk a lot, but we talk once in a while about our gadget caches, and Christel actually has a gadget cache. So, and I'm not going to try to pronounce it, Christel or Jesse. You're not going to
make him say it.
Paki Sekaisin.
Yeah, Pakki sekaisin.
It sounds so
That's pretty close.
Which, what does that mean in English, Christel?
It's a messy toolbox, or it could mean that you have problem with your stomach.
Okay, that's a good way to. It's a good way to put it.
Yeah,
one of those two.
One of those two. So in this case, it's talking about a messy toolbox, and you've got it's got 100 favorite points, Christel. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And
it's really surprising. Also,
it's a gadget cache, which so I like that you explained it perfectly. What gadget cache? It's easy to find, but not necessarily easy to log, right?
Yes.
Yep. And I got a photo that you sent us of here it is. So,
oh, wow.
So we're looking at
a hidden in there somewhere.
This is a great idea, Christel. So we're looking at a big toolbox with lots of tools and lots of other things in the toolbox. And obviously, we're not going to ask where the log is, but it's a great idea because it's not just tools. There's some other things in here that are like tool related, and so you have to kind of go through. And obviously, Christel, it's not just sitting in the. It's not easy to find, so you got it well hidden, right?
Yeah, it's well hidden, and some of people that they have been searching it for 3 or 4 times before they find it. So
very cool.
Yeah,
I like this idea. I really do.
Yeah, that's cool.
I like that.
Great idea. and we want we're gonna switch now. Like you said, we're gonna talk about caches or just caching in Finland, and we want to talk about too your Jesse's going to be very excited about this one about the
Oh yeah.
the harder caches. We'll get to that in a minute. So
Yeah.
let me switch back and off of my share so we can and whenever we need to, we'll go back and we'll share some more screens here in a minute, but we'll move on now. Very cool.
So geocaching in Finland, we want to hear about that definitely. But we talked a little bit before the show, and I thought this was pretty neat, and people that listen to this show would be pretty interested in this. You have an outdoor type area that you get to go caching in over there, right? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, we have. You mean the Åman rights?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Everyone in Finland and can enjoy the Finnish countryside. You can walk and ski and cycle in the forest. You don't have to ask permission from anyone. That's go for state-owned or some landowner, private landowner. You can just walk there. You don't have to ask anyone. And if it's a nature park or nature reservation, then you have to stay on the path, but otherwise you can just walk there. And it's free for everyone. Doesn't cost anything.
Right.
And
yeah, there's a. Go ahead, Jesse. I was just gonna say that it's called. There's we put in the show notes a link to an article about this called "Every Man's Right in Finland's Outdoor Culture," and it's a really well done backpacker article. In case people want to read it, it'll be in the show notes because I do find it fascinating. I think, like all of us, about and it's different. We've talked about it a little bit before. Caching in Texas versus, say, caching in New York or caching in Colorado. For us, Christel, it's always a little bit different. We tend to be, ironically, Texas people tend to be pretty friendly, but as far as land goes, people are not the friendliest as far as letting you go wander around in the area. So we got a lot of. If it's not a park or a cemetery or something like that, it tends to be private, and you can't, and it's always fenced off. So it's just a weird situation. Whereas Jesse, like up in Colorado, I mean, obviously we have national parks, we have private land, but I don't know. I think that it'd be interesting to look at, but like
ours are always up in the mountains or at the end of trails and stuff like that. So
Or it just is a mountain.
Or is a mountain, yeah.
Nobody else wants to go up there.
But like in New York, is it? I mean, you didn't really get to see a lot of when you came down to Texas, Sydney. But is it private land a big deal in New York? Or?
It can be, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we have quite a few state parks, which they have a really kind of strict geocaching policy, like you have to get a permit and everything.
Okay.
And those have an entrance fee as well. So,
right.
But otherwise, if you have like a town park or maybe even like a county park, those are usually free and, open to everybody. There's a lot of trails where I live because they turned all the old railroad lines into trails, basically. So that's usually where most of our geocaches are around here.
Yeah, but Christel, reading this article, there's a couple notes I'll sort of highlight. You can talk about. It says you can pitch a tent, temporarily camp out. You can temporarily camp out anywhere in the country. The only rule is that you must be within responsible distance of people's homes. Mm-hmm. You can freely pick all kinds of berries, mushrooms, and flowers from the wild, so long as they're not protected species. You're free to fish on any river, lake, or sea with a rod or line, and likewise, you're free to swim anywhere, operate motorized vehicles in any of these bodies of water if you've got a boat or
that's
whatever.
Totally different than here. You have to have a fishing license. You have to have, some places make you have a boater's license for certain boats or watercraft. Some places you can't even take a boat. Like I know there's a couple lakes here that are like used for drinking water, so they don't
Right.
allow motorized boats on them. So you can
Yeah, that
only
we have those here. It's those areas are not allowed here too.
Mhm.
But
You're free to walk, bike, ride horses, ski in the countryside. And the only restriction is that you may not disturb people or damage property, obviously, disturb
Yes.
game animals. So that's pretty incredible.
So I would guess there's a
Yeah.
lot of geocaches out there then.
There is lots of geocaches. Yeah.
The best place to play.
And it's actually allowed in the law that you have the right to put out geocaches and seek them also.
It's in the law? Like it's...
Yeah, in the Allman rights law. It's so called law, but it's...
wow.
So Finland is
written down,
on board with geocaching.
I'm moving to Finland.
Right.
Protected by law.
we have landowners that doesn't like so caches, so yeah.
But not many, right? Not many.
Not many. And if
So-
you put them in the forest and don't harm the nature, so it's okay.
So they can't all be out there. I'm sure there's some in cities and stuff too. What's an average or the most common cache like in Finland?
Most common is it's a plastic box under a stone.
Under a stone. Mm.
Under a stone. I actually have one here. It's like
Oh.
this one.
Oh, yes.
There you go.
Yeah. This is the
Yep.
most common. And inside there is a plastic bag with a logbook
Yep.
and silica. We have to use though because we have the winter here and it's got moist. So we have done some. And inside there is some small things
Yep.
for the kids.
Swag.
Swag.
So-
yes.
Would you say that most of the caches there are bigger in size, or are they usually, small, tiny ones?
I think this one is the most common.
Yeah, that's good. Not really around here. A lot of ones around here are pretty small in my area, anyways. Unless you're
Wait,
out
I
on a trail.
Yeah.
I have Crystal's.
I'm not-
I have Crystal's favorite right here. Right, Crystal. This is your favorite type of geocache right here.
I think
Yeah.
ammo boxes are actually because they are so rare.
Good for you.
They are
I'll
so rare.
I'm just kidding. We were talking about nanos before the show, and I'm showing a nano, but she's like, "Oh, I do not like those." It's like I understand.
But you mentioned ammo boxes. Do you have,
Yeah.
is that, it's pretty rare to
Yes,
find
they
those?
are rare because we have to import them. It
Oh,
costs
yeah.
lots of money, so there some US Army on those. So,
Right.
so I have to on my own. So
We had somebody else on recently, and we learned a new term for non-geocachers. Do you have any term besides muggle for non-geocachers?
no, not exactly. No,
Oh.
I don't think so.
What was
We
the
call
one we
them-
learned, Gary, from the other show?
Snuggle.
Nah, there was no.
It was
the
the mugglers.
mugglers. Maybe that
That's
was
what
it
they
from the
call
coffee
them in
shop.
Georgia.
show.
Muggles and mugglers, we are calling them, and it's actually from Harry Potter.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yes.
And we use the Finnish word "jästi." It's from the Harry Potter also, so the translation from
Oh.
Muggle.
Yes.
Is Yastik?
"Jästi."
Interesting.
That's awesome.
So those are the most common. What are some of the more unique ones you found in Finland, or just anywhere? But
Anywhere, huge gadgets, caches. Is really complex and hard to open.
Mhm.
Something like that. And those are also the best.
yeah,
And there's some. Go
I
ahead.
think everybody agrees on that.
Yeah.
Gadget caches are pretty much the best.
Yeah.
You've got some unique caching places too, obviously, but there's still some World War II bunkers up there in Finland.
Yeah, we have those
Okay.
still here, but not so many anymore. So,
Okay. Yeah, Geo Paul, our friend in the UK, he sometimes will do a video from in World War II bunkers. It's kind of unique. We really don't. We don't, obviously we don't have them here in the U.S. So it's always it's interesting to hear about his different type of historical places, or in this case, it's related to World War II. We we have caches kind of like you guys. We have them pretty much anywhere. But as far as unique, do you have any kind of or have you done any that are like underwater or anything of that kind of odd?
I have this scuba attribute. I have it, but I haven't done it. I haven't fetched anything. It was actually a forest. The trees was really nearby, and you have to dive into the forest. So
oh wow!
I got the scuba attribute, but yes, I haven't done any scuba.
Haven't done that yet. Okay,
no,
very cool.
no, it's too expensive. You have to take a limit somewhere. You can't do everything. So.
Right.
The World War II things are pretty interesting because I don't know if it's the same everywhere, but at least where I am here, anything that's really historical, they generally stop caches from being there, unless it's a virtual. They don't anything that's really historical. They'll pretty much block caches out from that property. It's probably the same down in Texas too, in New York. But
yeah,
do they have actual physical containers there at those World War II?
Yeah,
bunkers?
There's physical. Yes.
That's cool.
I guess that's probably the difference too. There's a lot of security issues here with suspicious people and the police getting called on cachers and stuff like that. I don't know if you have that same issue in Finland or not, but if you're sneaking around at night or leaving leaving containers around, we can get in trouble.
Yeah, I have heard that police they are stopping people here too, but when they tell them that you are a geocacher, they just laugh. So so it's not a big deal here.
Have you ever been stopped by the police while you're geocaching?
No, thankfully.
That's good.
But a firefighter in Netherlands, actually, he asked me what I was searching around the fence on the fire station, and then he showed me where the cache is, and he couldn't believe that some idiots all the way from Finland is going to get a cache in the Netherlands. So yeah,
that's awesome.
Would you say that a lot of people know about geocaching in Finland and just don't do it, or is it like really secretive?
No, actually, lots of people know about it because there is geocaching is introduced in some school books also.
Oh wow!
There is they have some task that they have to search for information about geocaching or something. Questions about geocaching.
It's awesome. That's not what it's like here.
No, that's nothing like that.
So-called ordinary people think we are crazy, but lots of people still know. If you just tell them that you are seeking for a geocache in the drain, so they are looking at you like you are mental ill or something like that. But
at least they don't. They know what you're doing. They don't think it's scary or anything.
Yeah.
Well, with it being talked about in school, is there more kids that are into geocaching, or is it mainly just adults?
I think it's more like adults, but of course adults have kids, and GeoKids is quite common. So
They get dragged along.
yeah.
To go.
Some kids really like it, but then there is kids that doesn't like it. So I think it's everywhere the same.
So what's it like to get a cache published in Finland? Is it hard or is it really easy?
It's nowadays it's actually really harder because so many changes in the rules. You don't have to. You can't advertise anything. You can't use any company names.
Right.
There are lots of rules, new rules. So, but if it's just a normal plastic container under a stone in the forest, it's no problem.
So do you guys have to tell your reviewer like exactly what the cache is, or not really?
It's if you do that, it's more easier to get it.
Okay, yeah.
Quickly.
Because I know my reviewer is personally, as of recently, like cracking down. He wants to know exactly what the cache container is and where it's hidden, because people have been hiding it basically wherever they want and not, saying everything that they should be.
Yeah.
I was looking at cache, and I want to ask you about, if we can. Let me switch again to, because I'm fascinated to hear about this.
While you're looking it up, I got one more question about getting caches published.
Yeah, definitely go for that. Yes.
So, what about challenges? Since the new challenges have come out, are those?
Oh yeah, good question.
Or guidelines for that, or have you done it? Have you messed with putting any new challenges out?
Yes, there came some new challenges here in Finland too. So, yeah, they actually, I think they are more easy now when you have the checker, and you can check that it's okay, and you can cheat. So, and you can't put out challenges that you haven't done by yourself. So.
I like that part.
Yeah, because there was some really crazy challenge earlier that no one can do. So I think it's and I like it that you have the D and T, the difficult and terrain has to be the right one. Okay, it can't be a little bit tricky because you could get some missing details earlier doing a challenge, but
I think some of our people are still cheating a little bit on that.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Just maybe on the terrain seems to be, cheating a little bit on some of those challenges, but
yeah. So I want to ask you, Christel, about this one because I found it fascinating. In fact, part of the name of it is fascination. But let me share my screen again and ask you about this cache. This one's called. I'm not even going to attempt it.
Oh, come on, Gary. You can do it.
I'm not trying. Christel, what is it? What is how do you pronounce this? It's an earth cache. What? Let me bring my screen come back up and we'll take a look at it. But all right, help us out, Christel. How do you say this?
This the first one is in English, Fascination Nordkap, but postglaciale. And I can't see it anymore.
Landloft, something like that.
Landlefte.
Landlefte. Okay.
Close, Gary.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was gonna kill that again. So this cache is the furthest north cache that you have found.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's an earth cache. And tell us a little bit about number one, getting to this cache. Let me kind of scroll down to the map here so everybody who's watching can see this. Let me scroll back out a little
It's a
bit.
lot
Is
of
this
blue.
the furthest cache north in Finland, or is there more?
It's
I
in
mean-
Norway. It's in
Oh,
Norway.
in Norway. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's got to be the furthest cache up in Norway too. I mean, look
Yeah,
at
that's
that.
pretty
Look where,
far up there. There's
look
not
where it
even any,
is. It's
There's not
way
even
up
any
there.
land above there.
No, there's no
It's just ocean.
polar ice caps is, I guess, the next one up. But so, do you remember what was it? Tell us about the experience of going to this cache and finding it and everything.
We had been 1 week earlier. We went to the Mega in Lapland,
Right.
and after the Mega, we decided to drive up to Nordkapp.
Wow, that's incredible.
Actually, there's some new caches.
Oh, some more caches up that area, huh? Oh,
And there's
cool.
just nothing above that.
No, there's nothing.
It's just
There's
ocean.
nothing. Just ocean, and like I said, you have to go all the way to the Arctic, or I mean, go to the North Pole or somewhere. There you go.
Oh,
there you
there's
go.
a couple more.
There's a couple. That's
What is that? Greenland or Iceland? I don't even know.
I'm trying to get it to come up with C, but yeah, you're some island. What is this? What is up here? This is crazy.
So obviously it's pretty snowy up there, right? When you're way up in the north.
Yes, and in the summertime, the sea is only maybe 10 Celsius warm. It's really freezing cold.
Mhm.
Wow.
And the summer is just a few months. And then the snow is coming back. So.
But the pictures from this area are really cool, and there's some sort of here's a shot of so it's gorgeous up there though. Look at I'm showing a couple of photos.
It's really beautiful.
And so there's some people at the North Cape is for so in Finland, and you own 4 of them, but what are your thoughts about earth caches that have been put in Finland? Or are they fascinating to you doing earth caches? Or
yes, I love them.
Yes.
Yes, because earlier I didn't even know that the stones are melted from some lava, and I didn't know anything. So even if you have talked about them in the school, but that was so long a time ago that I can't even remember. And we had geography in school, and I think we talked just about rivers and lakes and something like that. But actually, everything about stones is really fascinating. So, yeah, I love it.
see, she loves earth caches, Sydney. There you go.
Yeah. So my question, here in the US, or at least in my state, the most popular type of earth cache is about glaciers. What would you say is like the most common topic for an earth cache in Finland?
Granite stones.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
That's our most common stones here. So the bedrock is granite, so we have it.
Interesting.
I found the most common earth cache type is signs. You drive up, read the sign, and then you answer the question.
That's terrible. Oh,
Jesse, you're
Jesse.
just
I
mad.
couldn't resist. I'm sorry.
Jesse.
No, we have a lot of the granite ones here too because of the formation of all the rocks here. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, speaking of rocks and formations, we're going to switch gears for a minute. Jesse, you're going to like this one. We're going to talk about one of the ones that she did. Again, I want to show off this cache that she did, and we'll talk a little bit about.
which brings up something good while you're pulling that up.
Yeah.
I tend to notice that the caches over in Europe, you can be a little more risky. Like here, they get all nervous and they're like, "Oh, you can't put it there because somebody will get hurt." And y'all are like hanging off of bridges and swinging by trains and all kinds of crazy stuff. I don't think we have as many rules, like safety rules, as we do.
Yeah, we have rules here, but I think we have this so-called common sense.
That's good. I like what you put.
We don't
that.
have that here. I don't understand that concept.
Yeah, we don't have any common sense over here.
Yeah, because I, of course, people get injured and everything, but I think it's more like you have to know your own limits, and we don't go into caves or climb in trees by our own. We have to have a friend with us that can call for help or something. And
well, you have a different legal system too, right? So you're not worried about getting sued by somebody every time something goes wrong.
No.
Yeah, we tend to we tend to have a lot of lawsuits here.
So you sue the cache owner.
They sue everybody here.
Okay.
Everybody's everybody. So
yeah, I've seen a lot of caches here where they put like a disclaimer at the bottom, like it's not our responsibility or geocaching.com's responsibility if you get hurt in pursuing this cache or something. It's just so they don't get sued.
That's crazy.
I know, it's ridiculous.
So we were talking before the show, and we wanted to bring this up on the show. This cache that you did, it's a tribute, and I can pronounce this one, by the way, guys. A tribute to Finnish caves and caving is the name of the cache. Thank you. Appreciate that. And actually, your Twitter photo and the one I used
it's not from this cache.
It's not from this one. Oh, okay.
No.
We were talking about, but basically, it kind of got us talking about doing these caches, and so this particular cache you did, and basically you had to crawl down inside of a cave, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's first a big hole that you go. You can see in the pictures people are standing there, but then you have to go to this narrow, small hole and drop down, and then crawl a tunnel. And inside, in the end of the tunnel, there is a bigger chamber, and you have to do some measuring there to perform the earth cache.
Oh, it's an earth cache. See, Jesse? Yeah. There are cool earth caches.
Yes, there.
I just haven't found any of those yet.
Yeah, I was showing some of the photos, but Jesse, you like this one. This is kind of up your alley.
Yeah.
I would love to do something like that.
Now,
I don't have that many in caves here. I don't think there's some, but there's not that many.
Mm-hmm. We have caches here also, traditional caches that are in caves, and really narrow ones. I went to one last summer and almost got stuck between some rocks, and actually my friend got really nervous, and I said to her that if she has to call the emergency, they can't rescue me because you can't get inside. But I wasn't worried at all, because I knew if I can go in, I can go out. So I just had to deal with the stuck in foot and get out of it. So yeah, little bit crazy, but
right.
But we found the cache.
Yeah, oh, that's good though.
Looks like a fun one though.
They've got quite, some of the stuff that Christel provided in the notes. She did put some notes about active caches. There's 54,451 active caches in Finland. And I think that's pretty good. In a lot of cachers, 36,697. And one question we love to talk about, or one item we like to talk about and ask questions about, is webcams. Jesse's keeping track, I think, of.
Yeah, we're losing them day by day.
We're losing them all the time, but you found a few webcams, but there's probably not too many left in Finland. Is that right?
I think it's only a few. I don't know how many there is left.
Right.
I've done two Finnish webcams.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, that's cool though that you at least you've gotten you found a couple of them, and
Yeah.
you've done a lot of different types. Have you tried to keep track of cache types? Is that something that Finnish geocachers? I mean, I'm sure you guys are just like all of us. We look for different stats that we want to do. Like you said, you were working on Jasmer. Do you have people that kind of chase the cache types? Do you try to do as many as you can in one day, or is that something that's not?
Yeah, we have those challenges here also, and I've done 9 on one day.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. So challenge caches, something that Jesse. Well, we're all interested. I don't do many, but Jesse's a big fan. But challenge caches, is it something that's become more popular since they redid the rules? Do you think, or are they still just as popular as they've always been?
I think they are still just as popular. I think. Some people are really crazy about challenges and love quite lots of statistics.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But for myself, it took many years before I even found them. So,
Right.
and when I discovered challenges and learned what they were about. Then there was a new way to do things.
Right.
So I've done not so many, but I have all the time something. I'm keeping in mind that I need that and that one to do that challenge. So
oh yeah.
Adds a little something different.
Try to keep track on those. So
yeah, I mean,
are there any you're working on right now?
Not especially. Actually, today a friend of mine asked me if I could go with him to. It was a challenge about different difficulties on one day.
Oh yeah.
So,
oh yeah. So y'all try to find as many different difficulty types today as you could. Is that okay?
On one day.
Right. Yeah. That's a cool idea. I mean, there are a lot of cool ideas for challenges. I think they're very interesting to me. I know, Jesse, you've done quite a few, but that's interesting.
It helps us. I cache with my family a lot, so it helps us add something new.
Mm-hmm.
New to, instead of just going and getting one, they get kind of tired if we do that. But if we're looking for something in particular, it makes it more fun for them and me as well. So yeah, I like them.
Yeah, you have a goal.
And you can't get them all, so it's a lot more fun when you get one that you really want to get. So
right.
So is there anything you're planning for? Is there anything upcoming that you're either a trip, or is there any kind of geocaching goal or area that you're kind of getting some plans to do, but coming up, or is the weather kind of change? I'm sure the weather changes your plans a little bit.
Yeah, the winter is coming. So actually, there is a climbing cache quite near us here in Finland, in southern Finland anyway. And I have a friend that climbs also, and we have been planning a long time to do that. That it's a really difficult one. So
very cool.
Yeah.
So most importantly, what do you think about where I go caches?
You knew that was coming. She's done several. You've done 8 of them. So
yes, I've done those, but they are quite tricky because when you download the cassette, so you never know if it's going to work or not. So that's the problem.
That's true. We
and the best way to do them is to have one or two friends with you, and you're all doing it at the same time. So probably one is going to go to the finish.
See, there you go.
Yeah,
Perfect.
some people can't build them very well.
Yeah, I would like to learn to do one, but haven't done it yet. So.
Well,
Because I
hey,
noticed it's missing from your cache hides, so you probably need to put one out there. I'm just throwing that out there for you.
Yeah.
Jesse will help. Jesse loves to help.
Yeah, I would like to really would like to do one, because I have around a lake. I have lots of different types of caches. There is traditional, and then there is those unknown and earth cache and letterbox and multi cache. So I want where you go there also. So.
Well, you definitely need one.
Yeah.
And we talked about last week on the Where I Go show. We did a Where I Go show, by the way, Christel, or while we're kind of still talking, I guess. But you could do simple ones. I mean, it's something that, right?
Yes, I know you can do it, but still, I don't know. It's still quite difficult.
It's a lot to take on, really. I mean, because you don't just have to maintain the cache, but you have to maintain the electronic aspect of it. So
yeah.
Earth caches is the best, because you don't have to maintain anything. So
see, there you go, Sydney, right up your alley.
Right.
And we're getting toward the end here, but one other thing that came up question wise was over here. A lot of people are I think the trend is more toward using a smartphone to geocache with instead of an actual GPSR device. Do you feel like that's starting to happen in Finland or in Europe, or are people using their phones
it's everywhere.
more?
I think it's everywhere. Yeah.
Okay. Do you ever use your phone to geocache, or you just use your smart? Do you use your?
Yes, I use my smartphone also, but it's just I don't like it.
Okay. You prefer the Oregon? The Oregon's a great a great GPS. I mean, a lot of my friends love a Garmin Oregon. I don't know, Jesse,
I use only the smartphone.
I know, but you used to. Did you ever have an Oregon or?
I've only used the smartphone really since I started. I've had a couple GPSs, but I didn't start until 2011, really. So
that's true.
It was all smartphone by then, and I honestly don't even know how to use a GPS. I'll admit I got that there's a little arrow that points you in the direction, but I'm a smartphone guy. I don't know how to do it too well.
Me too. So, Sydney, do you still use yours, right?
I do if I'm like gonna be out all day in a park per se, or like on a trail. But if I'm just going out to find one, or then I just use my phone, because it's just so much easier for me. Right. Because I have my phone anyways, and I'm using it for this or that. So
we're all smartphone cachers over here, Christel. But I'm glad I'm glad you're keeping alive the Garmins and the.
Yeah, I like it because it doesn't if it's raining or winter or anything, I can drop it. It doesn't break. So
yeah,
very cool.
That's the reason.
Well, and it stays charged a lot longer too. So there's that if you're going to be out like a long time.
Well, and if you want to cache, for us, if we want to cache somewhere like where maybe Jesse is, or where Sydney could be, because you have to kind of plan ahead. You can't sort of spur of the moment. You're in the mountains away from signal. You really like, I don't have it. I haven't. If you don't plan ahead, whereas if you have a GPS,
you have to plan ahead every time.
You have to plan. You do. Well, you do. Exactly. Whereas with Christel, she could be somewhere and she can pull out the Oregon she doesn't have to have a Wi-Fi, doesn't have to have a signal for her phone. So
The best thing actually with the Oregon 750, I can connect it with my mobile phone and fetch caches.
Oh, gotcha.
On the Bluetooth, so it's really good.
Okay, well, that's cool.
On geocaching.com, you have those lists. I can download those lists directly to my device. So
I didn't even know that.
It works really well nowadays. So
very cool. So guys, any more thoughts? And I'll get Christel to comment on the final.
No, I think I'm moving to Finland. It's in their law, and they teach it in elementary school. So it sounds like I need to move there.
Yeah, welcome.
Exactly. Sydney, do you have a final thought or anything?
Yeah, it's just amazing to me, like how drastically different it is. All that we've talked about, anyways.
Yeah.
It's actually inside Europe also. When we have been caching in UK, there is you can't walk anywhere. You have to follow the paths, and there is a public path that you can use, or the parks. But if you step on the wrong side of the fence, there is immediately a really angry landowner coming out of the bush you didn't expect. Right. He's screaming that you're on the wrong side. So, yeah,
you have to be very careful.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's very similar to us. So there's many things that are different, but there's some things that are the same. Christel, just really thank you for being on tonight. Tonight for you, the afternoon for us, but it's been great having you on, and something that I think we all appreciate is that we're able to connect with people in other parts of the world. You know, we love our international listeners. We love our international guests that we've had on. It means a lot to us, and it really is for us. It does mean a lot to us to be able to connect with cachers that are in different parts of the world. It's been fun to talk to all our different ones. We've had Hindels in Germany, and we have so many that we've had on. And so again, thank you so much for joining us tonight and talking about caching in Finland. Really appreciate that.
Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here. It's really nice.
Yes. Well, again, thanks. So coming up on the show next week, we've got on Stefan. He's going to be on talking about GC Droid. So we're going to go the Android route for a show. And then in 2 weeks, Dr. Polly is going to be on. He's a teacher that runs a geocaching club at school. And then in 3 weeks, we had a viewer suggestion for this show, and we always love listening to our viewers. You definitely email us about things. We had a suggestion about what got us hooked on geocaching. So the three of us are going to talk about what got us hooked on geocaching. And then in 4 weeks is the Podcast of Hope, and you'll hear more about that as time goes on. And really looking forward to all those shows coming up. So again, folks, we hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Email us your comments or suggestions at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at geocachetalk. I'm at Gary Slinkard, one word. Jesse's at Memphis_Mafia. Sydney is at ShermanierGC, and our Facebook page is facebook.com/geocachetalk. Show can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Google Play, as well as the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click on the subscribe button below so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching. Go to Finland and go geocaching. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.